Hello guys and girls, The Witcher 3 today, a game I've seriously been looking forward to. I completed The Witcher 2 a couple of times, got a 100% completion on it as well, so obviously I'm a little hyped up for this game. And does it live up to my hype? We'll have a little look and see. We'll also discuss all the controversy about Hairworks and Gameworks, etc. And you can give your comments if you agree or disagree with me. I don't mind either way. When we look at the settings, there's a lot that can be changed, and for a lot of people they'll have to change things from Ultra. They'll have to drop things like Hairworks and HBAO Plus. It's very demanding. You'll see through the game, sometimes I'm sitting at 30 odd frames per second, sometimes at 70. It's a up and down game, but very demanding. One of the things I love about CD Projekt Red is their cutscenes. They certainly know how to entice you into a game. One of the problems I did find with this is it runs not very smoothly. It's sort of sitting at 23 frames per second, 22 and a half. It sort of leaves it a bit of a stutter, which is a bit of a shame really. It would be nice if it was running a little faster, a little smoother, but nonetheless looks very good. As per usual, CD Projekt Red, great job on the cutscenes. Entices you into the game quite nicely. There was a day one patch. As soon as I downloaded the game and installed a patch, I'm not too sure what that was for, but quite often nowadays games require a patch from the very off, which shouldn't really need to happen, not when it's been delayed this long. But hey ho, that's one of these things. It's done, and we'll get on to the game now. If you've never played the Witcher games, it doesn't really matter. You don't need to be following the series. It would help. You'd have a little understanding of the background of Geralt. You can see where he's come from, what he's done before, but it's not necessary. You can go straight into The Witcher 3 with not playing the game before. There's a tutorial which gets you started. It teaches you all the basic things about sword fighting. It feels a little bit clunky, I'll say, but The Witcher 2 was very clunky. And people might disagree with me, but The Witcher 1 I didn't get on very well with at all in the combat. I struggled a lot. Didn't really complete the game. I must apologise about that, but some people prefer The Witcher 1. I was a massive Witcher 2 fan. But yeah, horses for courses, each their own. As I say, I love The Witcher 2, and recently had a play of it as well in anticipation for this. And The Witcher 2 still looks glorious today. It's very linear, whereas this is more open world. You can basically go anywhere, whereas the Witcher 2, you was guided all the time. You couldn't sort of stray off the path. So this big open world sandbox game, and it's very big apparently, requires at least 100 hours to get through to the main game. So if you're a fan of this game, it's going to keep you quite occupied for some time. And my first impressions on the graphics are good. We'll say good, because obviously we've all seen the pre-release demos, the pre-release graphics, and yeah, they're not quite as good as that. There's a few bits missing, but I'm not saying the game looks bad at all. It looks very good, and of course when you do a pre-release demo, you've got everything turned up to 11. It seems to be a common thing nowadays where people are seeing demos of games at E3 and things like that, and when the game's released it doesn't match up at all. I think it was Watch Dogs was the last one I remember. We all saw the preview of it. Looked absolutely amazing, and when the game came out it still looked good. It did look good, there's no two ways about it, but it didn't quite look as good as what we were led to believe it was going to be. But one thing's for certain, when you do look at this game, it is stunning. It looks absolutely fantastic. As I said earlier, the controls are a bit clunky. I find myself sort of hit against sides of walls and whatnot, but I had the same with The Witcher 2 and it didn't spoil it at all. It takes a little getting used to, but once you've got used to it, it's not a problem. A lot of textures, a lot of tessellation on the textures, a lot of tessellation on the hairworks apparently, and this is where a bit of controversy kicks in. With older hardware, Nvidia hardware especially, they're not so good at tessellation. So when you've got a 960 beat and a 780, that looks a little bit suspicious from NVIDIA. But by the by, I'm not getting involved in all the controversy of it. Same with AMD, they're not so good with tessellation. And again, you've got really slow NVIDIA cards beating AMD's top end 290X. But again, that's for a different conversation, different time. I personally try and upgrade if money allows, as when new cards come out. I shall hopefully be able to afford Pascal when that comes out, and hopefully the 390X will have better tessellation support, so that'll be a bit of a fairer playing field. I'm a fan of open standards. I'm not a fan of all this works on one, doesn't work on the other. But saying that, I support NVIDIA by buying their products. So that sort of goes against what I say really, but there again, there's a rock and a hard place sometimes. AMD are not too quick to optimise for things, they're not too quick to bring out drivers for things. So, you know, what do you do? Anyway, that's enough of that. Right, going back to the game. As I said, you've got a tutorial. I shall show you a quick demonstration of the tutorial. It teaches you the basic moves, the basic use of your signs, how to use them in combat. Doing the tutorial is a good way for those who have never really played The Witcher or even want a refresh. It's a good way to get back into it, and it's not a bad tutorial either. I found the Witcher 2 tutorial to be rather boring and bland, but yeah, it's a good way to start, and I'd recommend most people will start using that. So once you've done all your tutorial and you get off, you see you end up in a bit of a battle to start with, just to get you going. And we're in the open world now. This is the big open world where you start. You can turn off all the information. You don't need all of that popping up all the time. I've left it on just for the purpose of the review, and basically just to show you what's what. I'm very impressed with how the game does look, even though it's downgraded. Shouldn't really say that, but yeah, it is downgraded. We call it optimised, shall we, to save any embarrassment. But as you can see, it does look really, really good. It's pulling what, 49, 45 frames per second there. That's quite smooth, especially as I've got G-Sync. It's running ever so nice. A lot of people aim for the 60 frames per second, but with G-Sync I'm quite happy running sort of around the 35, 40 frames per second mark. Especially in these type of games, you don't need to have lightning reactions again. For things like Battlefield 4, you'd want really high frames. Counter-Strike Go, high frames. But for games like this, Tomb Raider, quite happy to sit around the sort of 35 to 45 frames per second. But yeah, controversy aside, I think the game looks absolutely stunning. Airworks has been used in Call of Duty Ghosts and Far Cry 4. I'm not too sure if it's been used in any other games, but it's also in The Witcher 3. And you can see by the horse there, the mane looks good. Geralt's hair looks good. I'm still a fan of Triss effects. It looked very good in Tomb Raider. I don't know what it looked like in Lichdom, however you say it. I never played the game, but apparently it was blocked on NVIDIA hardware. Bit more controversy there. Seems to be a common thing nowadays, trying to block the opposition. It's all tit for tat, all childish. It's all sort of playground talk, but hopefully they'll get their heads together one day and say, right, let's do it for the community and make us all happy. I was very impressed with the water as well. Looks very good. There's been some good water effects in games recently. Battlefield 4 was one of the better ones. I forget what the map's called, where you get the storm and it comes up and it looks fantastic. The grass and trees in this look good. Nothing particularly special. The trees are pretty good, to be fair. They wave around quite nicely in the wind. Why Scotty, one of my friends, said to me he thought the trees looked like they were bouncing. I can understand what he's saying. And another fault I do have is when you're just walking with the horse, it has a slight stutter. when you canter, fine, but when the horse is just walking, it's yeah, every second and a half, 2 seconds is a stutter, which hopefully they'll sort out with another patch, or it might even be my system. I don't think so, because I don't get it in any other game, so I'm pretty sure it's just this game specific. But like I say, hopefully they'll bring out a patch and sort that. It doesn't put me off at all, and I generally don't walk too often in the horse anyway. So cantering's the way forward if you've got the stutter. Don't bother walking. Now, remembering I've only played this for a few hours, my first take is I'm really enjoying it. With the niggles and a couple of gripes aside, it's not going to put me off, and I can see me playing this to completion basically. I'm a bit of a Witcher 2 fan, as I said, not so much the Witcher 1. So for me, this game's got everything I want. Yeah, so I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I shall be giving it a really good play. And thanks for watching Gregster Reviews. I'll see you again soon.